You are Locked On Clippers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well. What do we have here, Clipper fans? A team going in the right direction? Finding some momentum? Wow. Another nice win for the Clip Joint. I'm Pete Fox. Welcome to the Clippers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. I've been covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. This Clippers team, another nice win. About to go final here. They're up 9, make it 10. Add into it against the Knickerbockers. Tonight's episode brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. So check it out at FanDuel.com or download the app.
This is what you'll be talking about.
We're going to talk about the Clippers playing most facets of the game very well. Final 105-95. The offense was there. The defense was there. They were moving the ball. They had energy. They recovered from the one bad spurt they had in the second quarter rather quickly. Norm Powell's still out. That makes me feel good that when he comes back, things can only get better. Obviously, it might be a little bumpy right out of the gate because he's been gone for a handful of games at this point. And it's always tough getting that guy back in the flow of things, as we have seen with Kawhi Leonard. Another positive fact from tonight. Kawhi was not good, and it didn't seem to matter all that much. Clippers still figure out a way to win this one. James Harden picked up pretty much where he left off after a 50-point display a couple nights ago. Tonight he had 27, 5 of 12 from beyond the arc, plus 14. Zubac, another double-double, 16 and 14, displaying some fine skill in the paint. Chris Dunn playing defense, passing the ball, just 2 points. But Chris Dunn is not really there to score. Has been doing some of that lately, and that's been nice to see tonight. Not so much. 0 for 2 from beyond the arc. Batum lit it up. 5 threes out of 7 opportunities. 6 of 9 for 17 points. The broadcast named Nico Batum the player of the game. They started with a 9-0 start, but of course, they turned that into a 10-0 Knicks run right after. But Harden finding Zoo right out of the gate. I always like that because I feel like that is a kind of a kickstart for them. They do that a lot. Harden finds Zoo early in the game, and then as the game progresses, it kind of goes by the wayside. And as we've talked about recently, it feels like when they get into a tough spot, sometimes they go away from that and they stop trying to find him. A couple nights ago against the Pistons, they did it a lot. And I felt like tonight, not a lot, but it was kind of becoming more of a consistent safety blanket for them. I like that. Like when things aren't going well and people are missing shots, find Zubac. More often than not, he's good for a bucket. Tonight is a little bit off. I mean, he's usually right around missing 2 or 3 shots on the night. Tonight he was 8 of 18, which for Zubac is kind of awful. But 16 points, 14 boards, and looked good. Off the bench, if it wasn't for Derek Jones Jr. and Amir Coffey getting hot late, it would have been a single-digit performance from the bench. Eubanks just 4 minutes, no points, but Derek Jones Jr. 17 minutes. He played or scored 9 points, and Bogdan was awful for 3.5 quarters. Finally got it going in the fourth with a couple of tip-ins under the basket. He had 8. 4 of 9. No threes, though. That's not something I like. When Bogdan is not scoring threes, I don't know that I'm worried, but it's frustrating because that's what we need from him. And as we've talked about, his scoring of late has just not been enough. Now, he has been facilitating, and I've talked about how I like the fact that he is willing to pass, and sometimes the offense looks better a little bit than when James Harden is running the point. Now, of late, James Harden's been very good. So the last couple of days, specifically, passing the ball, scoring, plus minus, good, not turning it over. And that's a big factor. If James Harden can keep a hold of the ball, you're feeling really good about the way things will go for the Clippers. Only 4 turnovers today, 7 assists to go with his 27 points. But Bogdan, 0 for 4 from beyond the arc, as we talked about, but he had 12 rebounds. So even though he wasn't scoring, he's picking it up in another department, in another area, and that's what good players do. So I think he's starting to find his rhythm, find his momentum, find his place in this team, and that's all good for the Clippers. Amir Coffey, 2 of 4 for 6 points. Wasn't fantastic, but hit some big buckets. I think I look at this and I say, what's wrong with Kawhi? He had some tough shots. He made some very tough baskets, but just not a lot of them. He missed a ton, 6 of 18. Missed 12 shots. That is very un-Kawhi-like. And he hit his first one, got to a spot, boom. Anytime Kawhi gets to that spot, you just feel confident that it's going in. Not tonight. Short. Everything was short. Don't know what was going on with that. Is he tired? Maybe. It's getting towards the end of the season. He's no, spring chicken. But you have to give credit to Harden, man. He talked about the 50-point effort and the minutes and all of that stuff. And he basically said, I'll give you one of those, I'll sleep when I'm dead kind of a things. And tonight I thought moving the ball, penetrating, I feel like Harden's game is finding some more angles. It's becoming a little bit more dynamic, passing the ball, taking the open looks, but also trying to move the ball and not forcing it as much. It's really, I think if I put my thumb on what frustrates me about Harden is that one particular play where he just dribbles across, puts the ball at his feet, between the legs, step back, chuck. That's what I don't like. If it's an open look, fine. Move the ball, get it back, take a shot, fine. It's just like if you have no propensity to run the offense is where I start to get frustrated. Jonathan chiming in on Nico Batum was great tonight. He was blocked shots, rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 blocks, only 3 turnovers, plus 6. Just a lot of effort from another old man. So that's good to see. You have to feel good about these guys stepping up, these guys who aren't normal starters, stepping up and earning more time and filling a gap, next man up kind of stuff. JHC 213 finally getting Zubac the ball consistently. Had our first 4 points. Yes, right? Get him the ball more. I don't care how boring it is. Get Zubac the ball. It's never going to turn out poorly. I feel like tonight, the numbers aren't good. 8 of it. Zubac's missing 10 shots. He can go 3 games without missing 10 shots. That's pretty much as bad as it's going to get right there. And he had a plus 19, dominating his minutes, 16 points. Get him the ball. It's never going to be a problem. Occasionally, you might find a big man on the other side who can deal with Zubac, but more often than not, no. I don't feel like that's ever going to be a bad play for them. Tonight, a 10-point win over the 40-win Knicks. Back-to-back wins for the Clippers. trying to move their way back into that 6th seed. Fahid Sharif says 7th seed. Let's go. Now we want the 6th seed. Fahid, we don't want the 7th seed. No, Fahad, no play-in tournament. That is not what we're looking for. 105-95, the final tonight at Intuit Dome, where the Clippers continue to play well. I'm Pete Fox. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, where we appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. When we come back, we'll do the bucket list, and we'll talk about the player of the game for the Clippers. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast brought to you by Prize Picks. Basketball season is in full swing, dashing, sprinting towards the playoffs, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. Prize Picks, you pick more or less on at least 2 players from 2 teams and their stat projections, and a shot of winning up to 1,000 times your cash. It's easy to use and available in a lot of places, more than other opportunities. In over 30 states, it lets you mix and match projections from across different sports. It's very quick and easy. Prize Picks makes it simple to deposit. It makes it easy to withdraw. I believe, unless something has changed, you can still get your money with Venmo, which happens like in under 30 minutes if you win. And that is under 15 minutes. I stand corrected. And they have all kinds of crazy cool deals like Taco Tuesday every Tuesday. Prize Picks discounts, select players, projections up to 25%, giving you even more value for your lineup. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's Locked On NBA for $50 instantly after your first play of $5 or more. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, Clippers with a nice win, 2 back-to-back nice wins. Are they finding energy and momentum and rhythm? Are they becoming a team and not just a collection of good players? Hopefully, looks a little bit like that could be what is happening. I looked at this game tonight completely different. It's same with the game a couple nights ago against the Pistons. My frustration level of, like the way I felt against the Suns, and maybe that was a good thing for the Clippers that they just stepped in it so badly against the Suns, blowing a 23-point lead. It was maybe a wake-up call to a certain extent. I never felt like, here we go again. I never felt like that tonight. Or a couple nights ago, what is today? Friday? Wednesday night, I never felt like that against the Pistons. Both games, very tight, hard played, hard fought games. Now, there was some spurts. This one really had only one, and that was in the second quarter. We'll talk about that after we do this.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I think I'm gonna take my cue from the broadcast and from Jonathan, and go with Nico Batum. 5 threes, leading the Clippers. Well, James Harden had 5 as well, but that was on 12 looks. Nico Batum, 5 of 7, 4 rebounds. I think probably more than anything makes me feel good about what he did was his play on defense. 2 block shots and really just closing out time after time, playing good defense, getting in the way of other guys. I didn't see a lot of just flat out open looks where the defense was, day late and a dollar short. It didn't feel like, of course it happened here and there. No one's perfect. But tonight it felt like everybody was giving it just a little bit more effort. And we all know defense is about effort. It's just effort. That's all it is. Play a little bit harder. And that's what they all did tonight, especially Batum. So Nico Batum, your player of the game tonight for the Clippers in a 105-95 win. The bucket list goes like this. We'll start with the aforementioned Nico Batum. Hit a 3 at the 3:50 mark of the first. It made it 18-16. Then he had a steal and a layup right afterwards to make it 20-16. So he started hot and kept it going for pretty much the entire game. Had a couple of misses in the fourth, but kept it going for the entire game as far as I'm concerned. For number 4, James Harden hit 2 threes in the final minute of the first to make it 28-25. Clippers, he had 10 in the first quarter, which was no 23 like a couple of nights ago, but still double digits in the first quarter for James Harden is a good way to start. For number 3, Kawhi had a 3 at the 5:23 mark of the second. Unfortunately, it was his only 3 of the night. It was a clear, clean stop and pop. It made it 45-42 Knicks. For number 2, Kawhi had a really sweet penetrate down the baseline, got in front of the rim and did a little backwards layup there, which was nice. 70-64 at that point, Clippers. That was at the 6:45 mark of the third. And then Derek Jones Jr. had a 3 at the 8:02 mark of the fourth. That made it a 9-point Clipper lead, 88-92. Derek Jones off the bench, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc for 9 points. He was 3 of 5. He had 3 rebounds and 1 block shot, but it was nice to have him back. I really would like to have Ben Simmons back on the floor. I was questionable about the acquisition in the first place. Really, what's that going to do? And then, he played a little bit, and I kind of felt like, all right, I'm a believer. I'm in. It's not great. He's not number 1 draft pick worthy, but it's like reclamation project worthy. Okay. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's let him play. And now it's like knee, hamstring. Like what? You played like 24 minutes. How are you hurt already? Like what is going on? So, I mean, I guess we should expect that. At least Kawhi was out there tonight. That was nice to see as well. Clippers with a 10-point win, 105-95. Energy was good. These are my notes for the second quarter early on. Energy was good. Moving their feet on defense. Then the Knicks went on an 11-0 run. So it's like, it was good until it wasn't. It's weird how fast it can just dissipate and go away. But the good news was, in spite of that 11-0 run, the Clippers led at the half by 6. And Zoo, who had a slow start of 4 of 9, kind of got it going a little bit. So they got the ball back in control. They righted the ship. They weathered the storm, all of those cliches, and got it back on track to lead by 6 at the break. That was nice. In spite of a slow start from Zubac, I still felt like he played really well. Oh, BC. Lakers will always be daddy. Okay. I love it when Laker fans just talk trash when no one's talking trash to them. We're always going to kick your ass. Okay. That cracks me up. When I worked with Keyshawn Johnson at ESPN, he would always say, because he's a Trojan, he would always go, the Trojans are going to kick your ass. Trojans are better. Even if they're not, they're still better. And then he'd look over and just start laughing because he knew he was just full of it. He was just talking so much trash. And I was never a great trash talker. I did a high school game today where at the high school where I work in Irvine, California, doing some PA. It was baseball, and it's a private school, and they were playing a public school, and that school came out and scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings. They were just raking. Starting pitcher got yanked after about, inning and a third. The public school was kicking the private school's ass, and they were telling the private school that. I didn't hear it. But one of my friends and colleagues was like, yeah, I was in the dugout and I could hear the public school kids talking trash to the private school kids. They were like, how does it feel to get your ass kicked by a public school? Guess what happened in the end? Well, the private school walked him off 6-5 with a base hit after a 2-run error. Sacrifice, moving the runners over. The pitcher fielded it and threw it down the right field line to tie the game at 5. And then the private school, Green Lutheran, single up the middle. And ironically, it was the starting pitcher who got the game-winning RBI, the guy who got knocked out of the game because he just didn't have it on the mound after an inning in the third. So it's always fun when the trash talking goes sideways and you end up losing. So I don't know if there was much trash talking going on tonight. Not a lot of trash talkers on this, on these two teams respectively. Maybe Carl Anthony. I don't think so. Josh Hart, maybe a little bit. Probably not. Doesn't seem like there's too many trash talkers out there. Kawhi's definitely not. James Harden, probably not. I don't think the Clippers have a lot of trash talkers, do they? Doesn't feel like it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot of trash talkers on either one of these teams. But tonight, when it was all said and done, the Clippers had the trash to talk with a 105-95 win for 2 in a row as they beat the Knicks at Intuit Dome. Off to tomorrow and then back at it on Sunday. A very, very big game against the Sacramento Kings. Let's take our final break. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. When we come back, we will talk about the turning point of this one. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast brought to you by FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started. There's no better place to get in on it than with FanDuel, America's number one sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game. That means when the game is going, you have a feeling about something, you can place a wager on it. You can go, I think the Clippers are going to hold on and win this game. Or I think James Harden's going to get 30. If you would have gone with that, you'd have come up just a bit short. But those kind of live bets, halftime, third quarter, fourth quarter, just are a whole lot of fun. And if you're a big fan of a team, generally speaking, it's not a crazy thought to think that you have a little bit of advantage sometimes over the odds makers. So if you're into making a game a little bit more exciting and fun, check out FanDuel and get into some of that live betting action, even same game parlays. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com. Your first bet has to hit, and you get $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Clippers tonight led at the half by 6. Third quarter, Knicks got back into it. 1 point lead for the Clippers at that point, 79-78. And I would say this will be my turning point of the game.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Yeah, early in that fourth quarter, Derrick Jones Jr. had a back cut dunk, and that felt like it just gave the Clippers a ton of momentum. And then you could add in a couple of tap-ins from Bogdanovich under the basket, part of his 12 rebounds on the night. Very rare that Bogdan Bogdanovich has single digits in points and 12 rebounds. But all in all, that fourth quarter was when the Clippers pulled away, put their foot on the gas, and took advantage of the mistakes that the Knicks were making. And that was a big thing they talked about on the broadcast, and I was feeling the same thing. It's like right now, and this is something we've complained about and we have groused about. I have said the Clippers don't have that knockout ability. They don't have the ability to downshift and pull away when the other team's floundering a little bit, and they're right there where they can like now put their foot on the throat. Tonight they did. Coffee had a big time 3 to make it 93-85. Harden had a big floater in the final minute, which was kind of like a dagger. So it really felt like in that final 5 minutes, what they call crunch time, the Clippers took advantage of what the Knicks were giving them. couple of nights ago, we talked about that very thing. The Clippers took advantage of what the Pistons were giving them. They weren't sloppy with the ball. They were closing out. They were making key baskets. And again, this is all in spite of Kawhi Leonard not playing well. He was out there, which is nice to see. But he wasn't playing well. Like 37 minutes. That was great. 6 of 18. Imagine if Kawhi's, 12 of 20. It's a different ballgame. This team's going to get way better if Kawhi can figure out how to score, like Kawhi knows how to score. So that's when it all looked good and felt good and was the turning point for me because, that was the most meaningful part of the game. And for the Clippers, when it's mattered lately, they have not taken advantage of the situation that is in front of them. At the end of the third quarter, Clippers were shooting 41%. Knicks were shooting 39%. The game was over. Clippers were shooting 42%. So they kept it up for the fourth quarter. Knicks were 38.5%. So they kind of stayed flat in the fourth. Clippers, notched it up a tick, not much, but they did. And they kept the 3-point shooting flat as well in the fourth. They were at 39% at the end of 3 and 39.5 at the end of the game. And the Knicks fell off a little bit in the fourth. You can attribute some of that to defense because, as I said, I felt like they did a nice job at the perimeter closing out, making those looks a little bit tougher. The Knicks were shooting 33% from beyond the arc at the end of 3, finished the game at 26.5%. So a really nice, confident, swagger-inducing win where we feel like there's hope that this team is finding a rhythm, finding some momentum. And if they get Norm Powell back sooner before later, that's going to be good. Again, big game on Sunday night at Intuit Dome against the Sacramento Kings, who are right beneath them in the standings right now. So they need to get that win to keep that space between them. And then they take to the road for a 3-game roadie, which starts in New Orleans, then on to Miami, and they finish in Atlanta. The Tuesday, Wednesday is a back-to-back. New Orleans and Miami are a back-to-back. And Jim Jackson was like, I'm glad it's New Orleans first over Miami because the players love to go to Miami because they go out on South Beach and they get all, essy. They have way too much fun. Generally speaking, life for Miami as the home team is a lot easier than many other cities. I'm sure New Orleans experiences a little bit of that as well because the visitors come to town and they head out. But I got to assume on a back-to-back, the Clippers will not be heading out. They're going to have to go to the gym or go to the arena, American Airlines Arena, or whatever it's called now, and just play basketball, get on the plane, and head to Atlanta to face the Hawks on Friday the 14th. So all is well right now. Things are going in the right direction, and that is a good place to be. So we go to bed tonight feeling good about the Clippers and hope they can keep it going on Sunday at 6:30 against the Sacramento Kings. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the comments. As always, it's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel where we come on after the game and break it down for you. We will talk on Sunday. Have a good night.